Everybody, we are back. It is Taped Online, favorite ratings podcast, favorite ratings channel, favorite ratings everything. We are back. You guys already know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, subscribe. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit the dislike button if you don't like it. Leave a comment if you like it. Leave a comment if you don't like it. Also, follow us on Twitter at DMarkJohnNFL for me, at BDWilliams18 for BD, and at MHolder95 for Matt. All right, so we are reviewing preseason week 1 film review. So we're gonna go ahead and review the film that we watched. We finally got some all 22, Matt. I'm very excited about that. I don't know how excited you were about that, but I was excited.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching the same tape for like the last 4 or 5 months. So yeah, it's finally got something new to watch. It was nice.
Yeah, something new. You didn't know it was gonna happen. Something exciting, so it got me a little hyped there to kind of see what exactly was going on. See how if anything matched broadcast, anything I saw was different. And, that's always the best part of seeing all 22 is the broadcast. Yeah. It's always a mirage. You always think you always think you know until you don't know. So, but there was some interesting things in this game. What did you think overall of both sides of the ball?
Yeah, I mean, I think defensively, I felt like it's easy to see the result in the scoreboard and how everything shook out. And then when you watch the tape a little bit, don't think it was as good as we would have hoped. I mean, if you think about it too, the Niners their rookie kicker missed 2 field goals that obviously would have led to points on the board. So it was a little underwhelmed with some of the guys on defense. But again, I mean, a pretty impressive day overall for the offense. Aiden O'Connell looked sharp again, just as sharp as he was on the broadcast tape. So good to see. I mean, but yeah, definitely a little bit more underwhelmed the more I dove into the tape on defense. What about you?
Yeah, I feel the same way. I thought the offense was really strong. I thought Aiden O'Connell had a good game. I thought he played really well. He handled what Josh McDaniels wanted to do. And I thought it was a little interesting though that I felt like they kind of game planned a little bit. I feel like there's a lot of attacking things, they learned things in joint practice and they kind of attacked those things in joint practice, and it kind of was they were just eating them up in different ways. Like when they were running the ball, they had in the first drive they had 2 or 3 outside zone runs, and then here comes the second drive, we're doing outside zone bootleg. It's kind of just it's a little, that's a little misdirection type of stuff that we're seeing, and a little bit of game planning. They had one route that I was watching JT O'Sullivan. He kind of pointed out that they were you really don't see those type of routes in preseason. So it was just interesting to see that. But, Aiden O'Connell executed it really well. I thought he was very poised back there. Very accurate, man. Very accurate guy. You really saw that. The offensive line was nuts. I thought they played ridiculous. I thought that was a great performance preseason. But, O'Connell had all the time in the world. I mean, he really didn't have to deal with too much back there, and he was able to get rid of the ball pretty quick. And, it was a good performance by the offense. I felt the same way about the defense as you. I mean, it just wasn't as many standouts as I thought I was going to see, right? And but I thought they it was a little, didn't really see too much out there. I mean, even from the linebacker position, I was expecting to see more from Amari Burney. I didn't really get to see what I really wanted to see from him. It wasn't really that. He missed a couple tackles out there. So even for the defensive line, I thought there was more push on broadcast than it was on the film. So, but I mean, there was some good elements there too as well. And the secondary really didn't have to do too much because the quarterbacks, the 49ers were. I mean, Trey Lance was struggling over there.
I'm not gonna spoil it, but there's the first play that I have. It was literally the first play of the game. I was sitting there buddy, what are we doing? And I kind of had the thing. I was just gonna say I kind of had that thing. We'll get into the John Jenkins tape. I was a little bit more hyped on him. Again, watching the results on the broadcast than I was as far as actually breaking down the film. We'll get into that a little bit. Again, still a lot of positive. I want to reiterate that and hit that part home. It just, I guess, wasn't as good as you would think a 34-7 game would have been. And even offensively too. You get 2 turnovers that give them short fields to get 14 points. Those are the things that are good to win games. But as far as looking at it from the scope of preseason versus regular season, those are the kind of things where all right, when we look back on it, we can sit back and be okay, maybe that was a little bit of fool's gold a little bit. That preseason game against the Niners wasn't quite where we really thought this team, or was quite the indicative of where the team is. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it was the running game itself. I think that was a little underwhelming as well. I mean, we kind of figured that from the broadcast, but I think Zamir White didn't play that well, in my opinion. I thought he missed some holes. I'm gonna do a breakdown of him later on this week, but even like the 4th and 1, he tried to bounce it for some reason, and then realized he couldn't bounce it, and then it was too late, and he actually had a little hole he could have squeezed through, at least got 1 or 2 yards if he played behind his pads.
I've got that clip. I was going to say I have that clip locked and loaded for today, so we can break that down a little bit. But, yeah, I will say in Zamir White's defense, because when we talk about Cole Fotheringham, he got beat pretty bad to the inside by a defensive lineman. Yeah. So I can see where he's coming from a little bit. But, yeah, on 4th and 1, let's just put our head down. And especially for Zamir White, the way he's built, let's just put our head down and go pick up that yard instead of moving laterally or backwards. So
yeah, just try to at least, squeeze into that middle of the that play, because the play is not designed for him to bounce it, but he saw I know what you're talking about. He saw Fotheringham cross him, right? Really about to cross him, but there's still a little bit that he could have squeezed through there that I thought somebody like Josh Jacobs or somebody like that would have, right? So and if Josh doesn't show up, or Josh watches the preseason game and decides maybe I don't show up the first couple of games, see how you guys look. I think that it's something that you want Zamir White to do. So he was a little up and down, but when the line was working, which I thought Parham had an excellent game. I thought Parham played too damn long. I was kind of upset about that. I thought he played so well in the first quarter that he
at least one play too long.
Yeah, at least one play too long. Exactly. It was too, he shouldn't have played the second quarter. I don't know what else you need to see from him. He pancake somebody that don't punish jumpers, right? Punish jumpers, # punish jumpers was there. And he should have came out the game after that, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I hear you on that one. Yeah, I was just gonna say I hear you on that one. I thought I was pleasantly surprised with the O-line. I thought they played a little bit better than it was the opposite. I thought they played better than they actually did. And then there was the same thing too with Parham. He was moving people in the run game and looking a lot better. And I feel like part of it, like you're saying, is they just want to get him as many NFL snaps as possible because that was his issue last year. But again, when a guy's playing that well, I feel like at some point in the game that doesn't matter. You got to give him the hook because obviously it ended up not great. I don't know. I haven't seen anything. Do you know if he's been practicing or has he been held out?
He's been held out. Even McDaniel said that there's really no update on him. So he has a concussion. I think they won't tell us. Yeah. So, but they don't have to. But he does. Looks like he had a concussion just from on film too, just because he hit his head with somebody when you saw his last snap on film. But I thought he played really well. I thought Van Roten played, pretty good to himself. Everybody did. I thought Mumford played pretty well. Dalton Wagner played.
If we can just get Justin Herron if we can just make sure Justin Herron doesn't overset versus Cleveland Farrell, it would have been a pretty damn good game. That was the one thing. I remember writing on my notes. I'm like, man. Herron's having a rough game, and then I went back and watched. I'm like, well, I guess it wasn't that bad. It was just one really bad rep against a guy that's not a good pass rusher, and it ended up getting beat. But again, overall, a lot better from the offensive line than we originally thought.
Yeah, for sure, man. I thought they played a whole lot better than I originally thought too, and it was just everybody, right? And that's what I was talking about. It was just it felt like they just wanted to beat the Niners down for some reason. I feel like it was just a little bit.
For sure.
Yeah, man. And I did look this up, the last 2 joint practices that they had. So they had one last year against the Patriots, and they had this one this year against the Niners. They have beat both teams for a combined score of 57-14. So I don't know. You could read into that how you want.
Look out, Rams.
So I'm expecting 34-0 this week.
They got to chill, though. No one's going to have joint practices with anymore if they keep just kicking their ass on Sundays.
Because even the touchdown pass, man, you knew they were going to play quarters in the red zone, right? And then you're going to call perfect quarters beater in the red zone. These guys don't know. They're just out there thinking they're playing vanilla football. He's out there calling quarters beaters. I saw the red zone. You're doing that all week.
I don't know if you saw this too, but Aiden O'Connell, I think he ran – I know it was more than any other rookie quarterback. I think he ran more play action than anybody else, which he ran 41% play action. That's just mean to do to these practice squad linebackers to the Niners. And you can see them too. You can see on a couple of Fotheringham clips where they just freeze. Man. Josh McDaniels must really hate those 49ers.
That's what I was saying. He was cooking him, man. Those play actions with the getting him one-on-one with the linebacker. Oh, I mean, you're going to show those things, but man, where they dicing them up. Josh, I don't know. Maybe Josh has something with Kyle. He doesn't like Kyle getting talked about as the best play caller in football. Maybe I don't know. Maybe
but usually, I mean, maybe, but usually, like when they have joint practices, it's because the head coaches are like friends, right? Like that, like you know what I mean? Like, because it's like that's not like something they have to do. That's something where they communicate and like coordinate with it. But yeah, it was. McDaniels was out like there, like he had something to prove. Like he was trying to, like you said, prove that he's a better play caller than Shanahan.
I mean, same way last year, man. With the game last year, I thought that was a crazy game plan. He started that game out with. He had Stidham looking like he was amazing. That's what I was talking about. Like he just was cooking that Niners defense last year, and I felt like he was saving everything. It was just some bootleg plays I never see that he was running out there. It was crazy how he wanted to cook, and I kind of felt the same way watching this preseason game. Like he was just cooking these guys. It was just and they're out there playing cover one. They're like, hey, get some reps today. No, you're not getting reps today. You are getting some reps. You're getting some bad film too. You might get cut. All right. So what else? All right, let's just get into this film. So what we're doing today, you're doing Fotheringham and you're doing John Jenkins. I'm going to do Tre Tucker and some Malcolm Koonce. Right, look at what Tre looked like, and Malcolm Koonce had some good reps, so I wanted to look at that. And of course, John Jenkins, had the sack, and of course, Fotheringham was Michael Mayer, So it's weak.
I'll tell you what, I don't know how much Fotheringham, what's in his repertoire, and we'll get into this too. But the guy can run a basic like a motherfucker. For real. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was either again. Let's see it too. I'm pretty sure every catch he had was on like either a drag or a basic. Like that was like the two routes they had him run. But hey, it worked well.
Yeah, it did, man. But all right, let's get into it. I'll start. Let's do some Tre Tucker here. Tre Tucker. Start off with him. He's explosive, man. That's what I really, really loved about his game is his explosiveness. And we'll talk about his route running a little bit here, but you're going to see a lot of elements of things I wanted him to get better at. I can tell he's a worker. He's working on these things. Okay, so let's start off with his first route. This is the first catch of the game here. Right, I really like this hesitation he does here, right here. See, gonna go back a little bit. Watch it one more time. You see the little hesitation, and kind of this guy's already off balance. Gate's already open. He's done right here because he's about to speed right past him. He's gone. Look at the separation he's created, right? And see, look at this corner, right? I mean, he got the corner off balance already. The corner's already worried about the speed, and he's just zips right past him. It's wide open. Nice catch. Traffic.
Nice play. I like too when you were talking about like him like attacking the corner. He gets to square too to give himself like that two-way go, and that's part of why the corner has to be on his heels. Can't tip one way or the other.
Exactly. You see it right here. You see the separation right there. All right, so here is the drop, right? So based on what I know from the scheme, this is supposed to be a seam and an under. So they call it sun, or dash. So dash is when he goes 3 yards and he comes in, but he's going the 5 yard one, so that's sun, right? But you see the seam from here I think that's Fotheringham, I believe. All right, that's hard. So right, so this play goes two ways. Okay, so O'Connell and him are going to get off timing, all right? But I'll talk about that. I'm getting ahead of myself. But let's watch this route first, okay? So he's just supposed to do an in, right? 5 yards. So you watch, he gets square again, but you'll see here, instead of kind of just flipping his hips, because sometimes what I saw in college was the stiff hips a little bit, instead of just getting his hips around and coming straight down, right? He takes like another step for some reason, which then kind of gets the timing off with him and O'Connell. So when O'Connell's throwing this ball, right, he comes in up a little bit instead of him kind of coming down line with the timing when he's breaking on it. And so it looks like it's a little bit of a thrown behind him, but it's more of a timing play that he kind of messed up based on the route. So we watched it one more time. Right. So, I mean, he should have been breaking out of the route already.
Right.
And
too much dancing.
too much dancing, right? And then he adds an extra step. I mean, the guy's already beat, in my opinion, because he's attacking his outside shoulder, which I really like. So he's attacking the outside shoulder against this guy in this back pedal going that way. So it's already open when he comes inside. I mean, and O'Connell has good timing here, and he's getting rid of the ball, but the ball should already be gone. He should already be like catching it in a line, but it comes off like a slant instead because of that. So let me go back a little bit. Sorry, guys.
And two, when he makes that cut, like he starts it at what, like about the 45, maybe the 46, and ends at the 49. Like he's drifting too much. He's covering himself right here.
Exactly.
He's locking himself back into that defender.
Exactly. And I was talking about on my breakdown, O'Connell, he's wearing 89, so he has the soul of Amari Cooper on him. That's why he's dropping these passes, Matt. All right, here we go. All right, so this one, this is probably his best route. He didn't get a target here, but this is probably his best route on this one. So you can see him, he gets square again, and then he just a great stem inside. This guy's already off balance. I think this is Isaac Rochelle, but he's done here. You can kind of tell he already went this way a little bit, and then you see a nice little arm over him. But show it better on the opposite version, on the end zone. My bad. View. You see the little arm over there, right? So he knocks this guy's arm down. So this is a great release. Great release, and he is gone. Now, all right, so here we go. You just watch one more time. Arm over. This dude's off balance. He's gone. Now, we'll talk about O'Connell here a little bit because you just watch his eyes, but I'm going to watch so you can see the arm over a little bit better here. So watch this. See the arm over. See how he knocks that arm down right there. No. That's savvy, man. That's savvy route running. But you see Aiden O'Connell, he's not even like staring at it. He's not even looking that way. So he's looking right at the end. He's doing right what McDaniels wants him to do. He's hitting him right there. Boom. First down. All right. But you see the savvy, the savvy, a little bit of savvy route running that I didn't see in college. So that shows me he's working, right? Maybe he's learned from Devontae or something. But that's a great route. That arm over was what got him the separation. And I think that's why they went back to it later. That's why they went back to this. So you'll see here on this one, this is kind of the same, different concept, but it's the same look. And O'Connell was like, I'm going to throw it to him this time. So I got the same one-on-one. And you get the same good release too. Gets square again. Gets outside. He doesn't even have to do arm over because he's already burned the guy, right? So, right. I mean, so if you're seeing him beating press coverage like this, I think he should be playing like week 1, and we should be throwing him deep balls. Like, I know this is Isaac Rochelle. Rochelle might not be playing, right? This is backups too, right? But man, I just want to kind of see it now.
Yeah, see what he can do.
Because he is gone. Yeah, see what he can do, right? And it's a great throw by O'Connell. He just can't hold on to that ball.
Yeah, they definitely dialed that one up because if you notice on the last one, he inside release and like that safety in the middle of the field still had a chance to make the play. That time he outside releases and obviously O'Connell has more room to make that throw. So I wonder if that's like kind of what you're talking about with McDaniels dictating where the ball's going a little bit. What he's got to throw the end there because of Tucker's release versus this one. He has more room to make that pass, which that's damn good ball, man.
damn good ball, yeah. Yeah, man. That's a good ball right here. All right, here we go. So next one, he doesn't get the ball here. So this is another one where it kind of shows where he is like maybe not running this route correctly. Maybe he does an adjustment here, but this is a slant flat, right? You see this all the time in the NFL. Slant flat. They call this D slant here, right? Okay, so but for some reason, maybe he sees this guy and he adjusted. Maybe they have an adjustment on it, and he runs that in. But I don't know. I just think that's kind of maybe he just knew he wasn't getting the ball.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he runs this, maybe he's trying to. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like he knew he wasn't getting the ball there.
Yeah, basically, that's like how I feel about it. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Matt.
I was gonna say it just didn't seem like he ever really got to like full speed or like that hard release that we've seen him get on the other plays, but yeah, I don't know.
All right, so here's him versus off coverage. Isaac Rochelle was in hell all day with Tre Tucker. He's just in hell. So, so here's it on the post route. I mean, there's like 5 guys wide open this play, so that's so funny. So I mean, 85 is just wide open, but Tucker, he's coming open too here, right? So I mean, it's a pretty good route. You see how fast he is. So I mean, there's so many options, but this is where you kind of could see the speed that he has and just how quick he is accelerating. He is accelerating so quick out of that break. Boom, he's on the post route.
And so, you can see the blender that puts the corner in.
Like, yeah, right. He's
all over the place.
Yeah, right. And you kind of can see like maybe there's some nuance here. Like just you see how the corner just kind of goes up a little bit, and he's not expecting him to go back, and he's just boom. Right. So I mean, there's some definitely a deep threat there for sure with him, and then here's a little. A little jet sweep you might see from him a little bit. On this one, really wasn't nothing there on this one.
Nice play by that linebacker.
Yeah, for sure. 53. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, he sniffed that out. Yeah.
Who's that? Winters?
Oh, you know what? It might be, yeah, from TCU. Yeah.
Nice play. All right, so let's get into some Malcolm Koonce here. Mr. Koonce. I thought he had a good performance. I thought he played pretty well. I thought one of the better players in the defensive line, and you saw a lot of what I always liked out of him at college. So, I mean, a couple of things. I mean, so he still has a little bit late with the burst. You kind of can see that a little bit here. Kind of a little bit late off the ball if you just watch Adam Butler and watch him, right? A little late off the ball, but then you see right here, I really like you get the little, you get the long arm here, and then we wrap. It's kind of a ghost a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of just ducks under the arms. It's also a terribly short corner by the tackle, but I like the move here.
Yeah, you can see the bend, man. That's some serious bend right there. Right, that he has that ability, and when you have been like that, man, you have the ability to get sacks.
Yeah,
but what'd you think of that, Red Man?
I mean, kind of like you said, like the bend is beautiful. I like too how he you just saw it there, like he kind of did the same thing too when we're talking about with Tre Tucker, getting the square, giving and forcing that tackle to have bad feet and give up that short corner.
There's
some speed to power here.
Yeah, speed to power here on this one. He loves his little hop step thing he does. He loves that. He has just been doing that since college.
I can't stand that. Like, I never get why you would do that if you're trying to turn speed to power. Like, why, if we're turning speed to power, why are we slowing down?
I don't know. I don't understand that. That's why he doesn't get too much push here, but he gets enough to get a little bit to the quarterback, but I think he could have got there faster without the jumping, right?
Yeah. Yeah, for real.
He's been doing that.
Again.
Go ahead, Matt. What are you saying?
I was just saying, and again, would have more power.
Yeah. Right. But that's what he does, right? Mr. Koonce. All right. So here's another one. I really like the bend on this one, too. So here's 78. A little chop. You can see the bend, though, still.
Oh, yeah.
Arm chop right there. Bend to the quarterback. I think it could have been a little bit more of a effective cross chop because I think he didn't really he gets the guy's arms down, but he's still able to kind of reset and control them a little bit. But that bend's just so good that he's able to get the corner to the quarterback.
Yeah, he needs to be more violent with it and then finish coming up with the rip because that's why that guy can hold on to him.
Mm-hmm.
But again, nice job turning the corner against a tackle who has bad feet. So.
But it's the bend, man. You gotta, that bend is just, you can develop something with it. It is really nice. I like it. All right, so here's another rep with Malcolm Koonce. It wasn't much running. I don't know why they did Trey Lance like that. I see why Grant Cohn was all upset about it. There really was a lot of runs. Not a lot of run reps for Michael Koonce. But here he is in the stunt, right? So you get Isaac Rochelle going inside, get a little, TE stunt, a little simple one. But then I like this. Here's we see a speed devourer without the hopping. So watch this. Just get right inside there. I think his pad level is still too high, but he's going to overpower 63. Get pushed right into the quarterback.
Yeah. What do you know? When you don't hop, it's actually effective. And like you said, he doesn't have great leverage there. But again, when you have the speed part, the speed to power, it works. It can work better. I mean, you can be effective with it because that is a beautiful move right there. Give him the sack for that.
Boom.
It's a good stunt when both guys get on pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let me start sharing this. All right. So, Matt, what you think of that? I mean, I thought Tre Tucker. I mean, there's a lot of great elements you see from him in preseason that you really like. I thought his releases were really good, and you can see the speed, obviously. Of course, he's got to catch the ball, but we can put some sage around him to get Amari Cooper out of his hands. But with the rest of that, man, I think that he did pretty well there. So, and then of course Malcolm Koonce, he is what he is a little bit at this point. But what'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think kind of what you're talking about too. I think one of the things that stood out about Tre Tucker, or kind of highlighted even more so what we were talking about after the broadcast, where he's doing a lot of things. Obviously, the all-22 shows a little more nuance. The stuff using the swim move, fighting the hands off, using little head fakes, getting square on the leverage. So he's definitely getting the nuance part of route running down, which is awesome for a guy that's a rookie, especially a 4th round pick at that. And 2 is just finish. That's the biggest thing. The slant, obviously we're talking about him drifting a little bit. There's still a little bit of little things that he can do, and got to haul in that one ball down the sideline. But again, a game for him where you had a lot that you like to see from a guy that at best is going to be your 4th receiver, and has shown a lot of growth already from his college days. So definitely very encouraged by Tre Tucker. I mean, Malcolm Koonce, he kind of said it, there's just as great of a game as he had, it's still kind of I'm man, I feel like he's still not really going to play because I don't know how good he is going to be against the run. He has a lot of bend, and it's just Jordan Willis had a great game today. Yeah, against the Niners too. I mean, had 2 sacks. So it's is he going to play in front of that guy? Is he going to play in front of Tyree Wilson? It's just still so hard for me to find a roster spot for Malcolm Koonce. And I don't just from the clips you showed me, the great clips, great pass rush clips, but we kind of already knew that. So that's where I'm kind of just we need to see something else from you. And the whole stuff I'm talking about too, where it's he's entering year 4. And we're talking about him, dancing too much before turning to speed and power. That's the kind of stuff that you hope he'd clean up at this point. But
yeah,
I mean, like you said, super bendy. Maybe they can, deal him in somewhere else if he keeps having good preseason game. But I still have a hard time finding where he's going to fit on this team.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, because Jordan Willis, I guess, is more sound. I mean, even with his pass rush, I mean, he didn't really jump off the screen. So it really wasn't really, I don't know how effective he would be in the NFL game consistently. Right. But he definitely is probably a better fit for a backup because you could play the run. And a couple reps that I saw from Koonce playing the run. I mean, he didn't have a great rep, but the ball was going the other way, so I didn't want to get too nitpicky with him. So, but the pass rush was there. He was getting double teamed a lot, which I thought was interesting. But there's still some elements there that he can work on, but I don't know. I'm with you, man. I don't see how he actually can find a spot on this team just with, how the other guys are. And they're just more veterans and play the run and kind of the Deshaun Bowers, Jordan Willis is a Deshaun Bauer type of guy. Right. So it's going to be interesting to see how he even tries to find a way on this roster. But I mean, there is something there. I think that if you can work on it and, get him after the passer, you can work. But Patrick Graham doesn't do a lot of packages either way. He just has a guy who just rushes the passer. That's why Ngakoue had to get out of here. So
yeah. I mean, definitely a nuanced player. But hopefully they can find a way for him or find a spot for him where they can at least get something back for him, because he is one hell of a pass rusher. That is for sure.
Yeah, for sure. All right. let's get into your stuff, man. What's your, you got Fotheringham and you got
Jordan
John
Jenkins.
John Jenkins, right?
Is it John Jenkins? Jordan Jenkins.
John Jenkins.
John Jenkins. Yeah, you're right. John Jenkins. I don't know what I'm thinking. So yeah, one of the things what I was doing with John Jenkins, and I posted an article that's pretty similar to what we're gonna be talking about here up on silverandblackpride.com. But yeah, like we're talking about the intro, John Jenkins obviously had a productive day pass rushing, but one of the things I wanted to see is one, how he was being used, and two, how he was getting the pressure. Like here, you're actually going to see him play 3-tech, which he actually played a lot. I don't even think I saw him actually line up as a true nose. Granted, the Rangers run a lot of even fronts on Saturday, but he was either a 3 technique or a 2-eye. So that's something I think is a little bit different. And this is the first play of the game. Gonna get a little quick game here. Nice little bull rush, physically dominant, which is something that you're going to constantly see. I want to highlight it from this angle because you can kind of tell he's still a run first player. You know, he's not really, exploding off the ball. He's more measured. And two, I don't even think he actually takes a step, or if he does, it's really short. So I'm pretty sure they're having him 2-gap, which again is a run first type of assignment. And he's getting the square on this guy. But what I like is, and we're going to see this as a constant theme, you can barely see his hands, right? He's got his hands inside on the guards, but we can see the guard out here grabbing the shoulder pads. And look at his leverage too. Our helmet's under here. We'll uncock the hips, and that's just going to allow him to bull rush and go get the sack. The one thing I did want to point out, I'm going to back this up a little bit, and this is what I was talking about with Trey Lance, is part of the reason why Jenkins gets this sack is this is a quick game concept, right? We got 2 curl routes, a short out, and a flat here. And we got everything smothered. Meek Robertson has this curl route covered. So Trey Lance is going to come to his second read here, which, buddy, how about we throw a ball to the guy that's wide ass open? And he doesn't, or he takes too long to make that decision. And that's really why Jenkins was able to get the sack, plus the short drop on the quick game concept. Like Lance gets to 4 yards? Probably should be another yard deep. And I mean, Jenkins doesn't have to go very far to get the sack. So that's one thing that's kind of the downs part of John Jenkins' games is, again, this is not a play that I would consider is going to be necessarily repeatable for him in the regular season. A better quarterback that's more decisive. That's a completion to the other side of the ball. But I do like the penetration of the bull rush on that one. We're going to see that once again. This time, I believe it's a double. Yep, there we go. Play action. So what I actually like about this one, too, is going to get the play action. We'll see some of those run skills. Gets kicked inside a little bit there, but he actually does a pretty good job of holding up and fighting through the contact for it being a double team, and then turns right into a pass rush. And again, we're walking that guy backwards. So that's something that I do like about his game, about him as a power rusher. As you can see the strength, again, hands inside, low leverage, got our butt underneath us. And two, now we're dry blocking him. I mean, you don't have to be an O-line expert to know that this is not a good position to be when your your head is further back than your ass, not exactly where you want to be. So that's a rep where I am a little bit happier with him. Again, play action, a little bit longer developing play, has more time to go get the rush. Let's see, what's this last one? I think this last one's pretty much the same. Yeah, same thing, just no contact on the double team. So, I mean, this poor guard was getting walked back pretty much all game or the entire first.
Get work, bro.
I mean, yeah. I mean, just to compare, get a little bit, maybe a little bit TMI here. That is as we call, a nice bubble. So we'll fill those gaps in. But yeah, the same thing, right? This is the best rep one. I mean, look, he's like a whole half a helmet underneath this guy, hands tight inside. We see the white glove out there by the guard. Not much you can do. And again, we're walking that dude back. So that is the encouraging rep. But again, not something where I really saw him winning with a ton of moves or a ton of use of hands or anything like that. But again, for a guy that's going to be a nose tackle, guy that's going to be a 2-down player, do like the bull rush and do like the prospects on that end. It's just he's going to be dependent on the scheme and whatnot to be able to put up those pass rush statistics. And I know we're talking about pass rushers, but I got to throw in one clip against the run because this was just beautiful. One of the 2 plays he played. Let's see. Bad editing on my part. This poor guard, dude. This guy is probably going to be selling cars in about a month. And he's got to block this 320-pound, 330-pound, 10-year veteran who just abuses him. I think this could be an outside zone. Also, shout out Malcolm Koonce here, subject of the day.
Yeah.
Gets a little lucky, ducking inside. But, hey, we set that edge, force that to cut back. Again, look at Jenkins here. This is what I was talking about with his run defense, or his run defense skills translating as a pass rusher, and how that, and vice versa, and how that plays off each other. Again, hands inside, controls the block. Probably has longer arms than this guard too, it looks like, now that I'm watching it. And if that running back bounces, see ya, and we'll make that play. Nice rep from John Jenkins there. Like I said, definitely a better run defender, even though he did have the sack and a little bit more pressure. Was more encouraging, but still that run first type of player. We'll see how it goes this weekend. Hopefully get some playing time against the Rams. But awesome.
Perfect.
All right. So back on to Fotheringham. So yeah, like I was saying, got about 9 clips here. I think I got all of his targets in here. I missed one, I believe, just because it was getting repetitive. It was kind of the same route over and over again, the same type of concept. But a good day for him. Had a bank 75 yards, caught all 4 targets. But this is one of the biggest things I think you can see, and probably if you can envision Michael Mayer in this role, the Raiders, or at least Josh McDaniels, love calling these little basics off of play action and dumping it to the tight ends. But one thing I wanted to note here is 2. We'll see this from the end zone view too. He's going to get some pressure from this DN that's going to chip him, fights to that, goes unimpeded. And then here, what we were talking about with Tre Tucker, using his arms, using his hands, you're going to see the same thing from Fotheringham. Make that guy miss, and then just run past the linebacker. We pick up, 20 here?
20 here, yeah.
20, look, a little more than 20. So, yeah, we'll see it again from this angle. Bites to the contact, and then this is where you'll really get to see that little move that he does. And boom, tips that shoulder, avoids that contact. And that's really what sets up the separation for him, right?
Yeah.
Now that linebacker's off balance, he's got to play chase, and it's 1st and 10 inside the goal line. All right. Similar play, just on a short drag this time. This is what I was talking about with Josh McDaniels just hating these Niners linebackers because this guy went – I love it here.
The outside zone setup, too.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, right about here is the oh shit moment. Oh, I got to cover that guy. Ball a little bit high and behind him with O'Connell facing some pressure. Nice adjustment to make the grab and hauls it in. But yeah, nice rep here. Again, not much going on the route, but you can see the speed to run away from the linebackers and make a nice catch. We'll see where this ball is. That's a whole grab right there.
That's a nice catch.
Keep the offense on schedule. All right. And then this is pretty much the same thing as the first one. Same thing. This time we take the outside step.
Just abusing these guys. It's just hilarious to me. It was hilarious watching this on film. Sorry, it was.
Oh, no. The linebacker is my favorite here. Like, what we were talking about, them just freezing. Like, this is the play that came to mind. Watch this. Oh, we got to cover that guy.
You're in cover 3, bro. That's you.
It is funny to me, like, that's a basic cover 3 rule. That guy's probably been running that play since high school. And, like, I can guarantee you that's probably one of the first times he ever just stood in the middle of the field and covered grass with his eyes in the backfield. But, hey, that's the thing. Bullets start flying in the NFL. You sometimes you forget your fundamentals. But, 2 here, the thing I like about what Fotheringham is, like, last time we saw him inside release, right? This time the DN's playing a little bit closer to head up on him, still a little bit outside shade, but closer to him. So now he's going to adjust a little bit, go with that side step and split these 2 guys, change up his release. And 2, this is the beauty of the end zone view, right? Now he starts to turn his head. He's like, look, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. I'm past the linebackers. Come give me the ball. Love to see him make that safety miss, but hey, hell of a rep. All right, another drag. Good.
It's just – I'm sorry. It's just funny.
It is. No, you're right. Here we go. Oh, shit. Got to go cover that guy. Again, turn up field. That is another knock that I kind of had on him is I don't think he made anybody miss. Like, he kind of just went down every time he had tackle. Anyone tried to tackle him. But hey, again, another good rep where we can see his speed a little bit to run away from linebackers. I actually thought he was a lot better of a pass catcher and a receiver on this game than a run blocker, which is kind of ironic. That was the opposite of what he was at Utah and coming out of college.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right, get a couple positive run blocks before we go into the negatives.
Okay,
a few here, and I will say too, the positive plays were later in the game when the 49ers were really going deep in the depth chart. Let's see what's on. This one is going to be 4th and 1 on the backside of a counter. And 2. All right, here we go. So that's one thing. I would like to see him take more of a lateral angle to cut this guy off. But he's going to get there, physical at the point of attack, gets his hands inside, and he runs his feet, and that creates that little cutback lane for Abdullah to run through. Not the most explosive run or anything, but we can get movement on the second level like that. We'll take that every single time. And then let's see. All right, this next one, lead zone. Same thing, working up to the second level. Again, he gets to go against a safety, so he's got the favorable matchup here. And boom. Keeps running those feet. That is one thing he's really good at as a blocker. Like, his feet don't stop when he hits the contact right here. Like, back that up. Boom, 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 boom. And that's a big-ass lane that we have to run through. Let's see if McCormick's in the game here. Like, if you're I think 83's got to block that guy, or someone's got to get that guy sooner. But
yeah.
And either way, like, I'd like to see, getting onto a tangent, like to see the running back split this block, but another good rep from Fotheringham. Hands inside again, run those feet.
Look at Wagner over there. Getting the 89 PFF grade. Go ahead.
Which one? Oh, he's 78, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was a nice block. I didn't even notice that. Nice little turn and steer.
Yeah, that's 89
that's
PFF
a WWE
grade right
superstar. There you go.
All right, keep going.
All right, let's see. All right, so this again, later in the game, this was his best block against a defensive lineman. We'll see too, like, this guy's head up on him, or a little bit inside shade, actually. He's on the backside of zone, and he gets off the ball quickly, and watch his feet too. Gets there right away, beats the guy to the spot, and is able to seal him, and then keeps those feet moving. That's one thing I love about his game that I hope he never loses. Like, boom. We start at the 4, we finish in the end zone because he keeps those feet pumping, keeps them churning. And that's one thing that I do think is going to help him as he gets better and a little bit stronger at the point of attack against these defensive linemen. Moving on to a couple negative plays, and I'll be honest, there were more than a couple, and almost all of them were him against the run. This time he's going to work up to the second level on counter again, but it's not going to be quite the same result. And that was one thing I noticed about him too, is his body positioning wasn't ideal. Like, he's straight up square here, and I called it out before. His angle is actually better on this rep, but I'd like to see him make contact and then flip his butt right here so that lane is even bigger for Zamir White. Instead, he kind of stays square. Part of it is he's not winning at the point of attack. That guy's helmet's under his, doesn't have great leverage. So he kind of gets beat across his face, and his guy ends up making the tackle. Otherwise, it's Zamir White and the safety. And I mean, safety's probably making that tackle because it's Zamir White, but normally that's a favorable matchup that we're looking for right now. Just got beat across the face there. And then this is the one we were talking about. We'll end with the old duo call. And again, another forgetful rep from Zamir White. But now he's going to be going up against this defensive lineman. And this was towards the beginning of the game. So a little bit better competition. And that D lineman's going to actually beat him across the face. Again, 4th and 1 here. Raiders need a yard. Just not physical. Just too soft. And I mean, he's back where the center was.
Yeah.
And 2, the hand wind up. Like, this is like the old school, like, you know what I mean? Where, like, you got the guns in the holsters. I remember that when I was playing football. Like, that's not taught anymore. It's get your hands up as soon as you can and watch. That's going to let that guy get in his chest. Like, look where his arms are right now. And even though he has the leverage advantage, he's got no base. His timing's all off. And, I mean, that guy makes the play pretty much right there. So that was the biggest thing, is definitely think he needs to be a little more physical at the point of attack, especially when taking on defensive linemen. But But
that was it, right?
Good game as a receiver.
Okay. All right, man. So those are good clips, man. I thought Fotheringham, played pretty well. I did want to give a shout out to 86 Swinker. Man, that dude has some blocks, man. I don't know if you noticed that, but that dude, he was.
He was playing like the role that I thought Fotheringham would. Like they used him as a blocking giant, and I'm like, what's the guy from Auburn, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, yeah. Now that makes more sense. And I don't know why, but it took a second for that to click.
He wasn't a blocking giant. He was a fullback. He played fullback the whole game, man.
I think he was like that at Auburn too. I think he was like that was his type of role. Like he was the H-back type of guy. You know what I mean? Where he just comes in to block, basically, kind of like what we'll probably see from Jakob Johnson this year.
Yeah, and that's my thing. If when you have a player like that he can work in the passing game probably a little bit, though. I mean, it might not, more than Johnson. So that's why I was like really kind of awakened by him. Like the first run of the game, man, he had a great block. He came right through that run and duel. He came right through there, just made a great block and opened up a big hole for him. And he knocked somebody on the ground too later in the game, was staring him down. Dude, I was like, oh, you're making the team, I think. I don't know what these other tight ends. The other tight ends, but you might can catch. But this dude is knocking guys over from the backfield. So you got to watch out for him, for Swinker. I think he made a name for himself this game. But back to what we were talking about. So John Jenkins, I thought it was interesting too. I mean, he kind of just like a typical nose guard, just pushing the pocket.
Yeah.
But it was effective.
Yeah, and I mean, he was effective. Like again, like he can only do it. He can only play against who he lines up across from, and if he's out there making trade or taking advantage of bad decisions by a quarterback play, you can't fault them for that. It's just when I watched it, I was definitely less excited about his skills as a pass rusher than I was on Sunday when I was like, wow, this guy's getting sacks and pressures. When in reality, it was kind of like he was getting a little bit of help from the offense and from the competition he was playing, but not a bad game from him by any means. So that's for sure. They very clearly don't expect anything from him as a pass rusher. Like he played 3 series and he was out on every third down. Like Adam Butler was staying in the game over him on third downs, and Adam Butler's not that great of a pass rusher either.
Yeah.
Better than Jenkins, but still not that good for Wishley.
Yeah. Because I think that was the biggest disappointment for me watching the film was the defensive line, because I was like expecting this dominance. Like, oh, they're all over them. It was really just Trey Lance. So that had to be the most disappointing part of the film altogether for me. Watching the defensive line, was expecting that dominance and kind of like, oh, okay, well, I mean.
Yeah. Again, it's not that they were bad. It was just like, I think that's like when you see like the 4 sacks and like how much pressure they were getting on the broadcast, and then like you turn it on and you're like, oh, this tackle like has no feet. Trey Lance is holding on the ball for 8 seconds. Like now it makes a little bit more sense, but I mean, we'll see this week. I feel like Stetson Bennett at Georgia, at least, that was his claim to fame, is he was quick and decisive with the ball. So if they can do it again against the Rams, which similar offensive scheme, obviously with the Shanahan and McVay connection. Yeah. And maybe we have something. Maybe they can figure something out, but we will see.
And if they win 31-7, we know something's up. That's how I feel about this preseason game. I'm watching this game like really tight. I just want to see what the score ends up. If they go out and they dominate the Rams again, I'll be like, Josh, nobody's gonna do joint practices with you anymore. If you come out here and then you start attacking their linebackers.
So Josh McDaniels sleeping in the office for a preseason game, scheming these guys up.
They like to run corners of the red zone. So if we get into the red zone, we're gonna run Gotti, which is like the up, the out, and the go route right there. You're gonna hit him, then I can be ready for it. Right at the slot, Keelan Cole. That's what he told Ian O'Connell on Saturday. So
meanwhile, Kyle Shanahan's having a Trey Lance drop back like 30 times in one half.
Kyle Shanahan had a beer on Saturday, get ready for the game. He's like, just go out there, I'll just call plays.
Yeah.
You know. We're monitoring that. I'm monitoring this. If they go out, they win 31-7. I mean, they went 3-0 the preseason last year too. So I'm like
4-0. They had the Hall of Fame game too.
Oh yeah, they went 4-0. They're 5-0 in the preseason now.
Josh McDaniels, the best preseason coach of all time, man. I don't know what he went with the Broncos, but I mean, 5-0 with the Raiders, doesn't lose.
Just the way he was doing those linebackers, man. I'm just like, this is preseason. That's messed up, bro. That guy's not gonna he's not gonna make the team now, Josh. He might not make the team because you got him in circles. what the hell is this? Play action.
49ers have barely installed like their play action, how they want to play action, all that stuff. And these dudes, I mean, but
it was funny. It was funny. I was just watching. I was like, bro, he's tearing these guys up.
Hey, he outcoached them, man.
Yeah,
you gotta do what you gotta do. It's a game. They signed the waiver. They put the pads on too. Kyle Shanahan had the clipboard out.
Yeah, man, he did. You know, he could have went out there, man. You know, gave Trey Lance some help because I mean, if he schemed like that, I'm sure Trey Lance probably would have played a little bit better. But he's just like, I'm calling sticks. I'm calling these normal West Coast offense plays. The plays I put in the OTAs back in their first installs.
So, I don't know which broadcast you got, but I had the Niners broadcast out here. And they were talking they're like, oh yeah, Kyle Shanahan in the preseason scripts, like the first 25 plays. I'm like, 25? Like, I mean, that's like 5. That's like the whole first half worth of plays. Like,
yeah.
I mean, you might get like 30 to 35 maybe in a half, but like that's a ton. So yeah, he very clearly was like, this is what we're going to run. I don't care what it's going to be. And then
I don't care what coverage we have.
Yeah.
I don't care what coverage we see, what coverage we're running these plays. No. Josh McDaniels is running. You were playing cover 3. Oh well, I guess we're gonna do these play actions.
Hey, it's preseason for the coaches too. There, you got to get on your game. Got to sharpen your mind.
All right, Matt. I think that's all I got. We got those the film talked about the game, right? And then we got the week 2. We got the joint practice coming up, so we'll talk about that. Of course, we're gonna keep putting some videos out. I got Aiden O'Connell up there. I know some people didn't like that I was talking about that he should have been quicker with the football on some of those things, but you know, we're trying to see if he's a starter or not. So, but check that out. Check that breakdown. Aiden O'Connell. I'm gonna get some Zamir White and some defensive guys up here in the next couple of days. So just be on the lookout for that, man. When we get ready for Saturday, and it's gonna keep revving out. And I'm gonna get this Jimmy G red zone that's gonna take me like 3 hours to do pretty soon here, since it's all 43 throws. So, yeah. All right. Any last thoughts, Matt? Get out of here.
Not much. Kind of like you said, interested to see what happens this week. Obviously, joint practices again. See if they can keep that number 99 guy in check, especially on the interior offensive line. I don't know really what to expect from the Rams because, like, I was looking at their depth chart earlier. I'm like, I don't like other than like Aaron Donald and Jordan Fuller. Like, I don't really recognize anyone on their defense. Like, a lot of young guys, a lot of guys that they've had a lot of guys retire since their Super Bowl year and leave and go elsewhere, but it'd be interesting. I'm not quite sure what to make of the Rams this season, so should get a first litmus test and see what they're all about.
Yeah, and kind of see what our pass rush kind of can do against. They don't have a good offensive line really over there either. So they still got Matthew Stafford though. He's healthy. He's not trying to act like he's healthy like he did last year. But
yes, he's practicing right now, right?
Yeah, he's fully. I mean, he wasn't healthy at all last year at all. Like he got hurt. Like I don't know. He had some surgery like in off season. He never was healthy like the whole season. So, but he's fully healthy. So we're gonna see a different Matthew Stafford this year, I believe. So
definitely interesting too to see what the status is going to be with Devontae. I don't think he's probably going to practice. He's walking out with a slight limp on Saturday. So the other thing to monitor over the next 3 days is see if he's if he's even suiting up, which I doubt. Also, Michael Mayer, who missed. Did he miss both joint practices or just the one?
Yeah. I think he missed both of them.
Some injury news to keep tabs on and keep us on our toes. And hopefully at some point Tyree Wilson comes back because it'll be a fun guy to break down here in the preseason. Hopefully he'll get some run and get some playing time too.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys. Like I said, hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. We're out of here. Peace.
See ya.